Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Sporemon. I'm Jack, and in this episode, we're going to be going over the next three 5-stage evolutionary lines. In this episode, we're actually going to be going over two of my personal favorites, these first two lines here, as well as this third line. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start down here with the shelter line. This is a grass and rock line with a grass and steel alter evolution. If you look at his design here, you can see he's got this sort of very defensive look. He's sitting down right now. There you go. So he's got his outstretched arms with his big shields, which is going to be the sort of the continuing motif for this line. He's got these big back legs. He's pretty small overall, but he does have those shields. A very defensive line. So, this is the Shield Sporemon, a grass and rock type. HP is pretty good for a first stage. Attack, fine. Defense, really good. Special attack, good. I'd say good. And special defense, pretty bad. Really bad. And then speed is also really bad. And his ability is Fortify, which makes him gain one defense stage every turn. So this thing is going to have absolutely massive defense, physical defense for early game. And then decent attack values. He's going to be a bit more of a special attacker. And then really bad special defense and speed. So he is definitely a tank, but more on the defensive side than offensive. And also exclusively in the physical defense as far as his defense goes. But we're going to move on to his evolution. This is Waldor, the Wall Sporemon, grass and rock type. He's got that same design with that body with the outstretched arms and the defensive front feet, these more regular back feet, some spiking showing up on him. Starting to look more fortress-like. If you look at him from the front, it looks very much like a wall. He's got these big shields still on his front legs, this big back plate as well, trying to get a bit darker in coloring. As far as stats go, HP, pretty good. Defense, fine. Defense, really good. Special attack, good. Special defense, pretty bad. And then speed. Special defense, really bad, and speed also really bad. And he still's got that Fortify ability. So basically, I mean, it's the same as the pre-evolution. He's got the same sort of stat spread. Mostly, again, a physical defender. He's got decent attack stats, but overall he is going to be waiting him out. He's almost always going to move second. But hopefully, if he's going up against a physical attacker, then he will be totally fine during mid-game. Now we're going to move on to Fortrador, the final evolution. The Fortress Sporemon, grass and rock type still. You can see, same basic premise. He's got a much larger torso, but still has the same design. He's also got these spikes. When you look at him from the front, he's very fortress looking. He's got these long front legs with multiple, like 4 sets of plates, or 2 sets of plates, 4 total, I suppose. A very defensive look. He's still got that really dark rock and a bit lighter of a green now. And he's gotten pretty big. HP it's good. It's not fantastic, but it's pretty good. Attack, not great. He's not going to be physically attacking much. He can, but it's not ideal. Defense is fantastic. He's going to take basically no damage from physical attacks. Special attack it's fine. He can hit decently hard with some special attacks. And then special defense, bad, and speed also bad. So yeah, again, you don't want him going up against a special attacker, and he's going to be slow, but hopefully if it's a physical attacker, it won't matter too much because he can take the damage. And his ability, he still has the Fortify ability, but he also has the Shield Slam ability, which slam moves deal double damage. So actually, for some physical attacks, he actually can have a pretty seriously good attack stat if he's using sort of slam or bash sort of moves. So he can actually hit quite hard with some specific sorts of moves. But he's generally still going to be a special attacker, I would say. All right, let's move on to the Alter Evolution. This is Shivador. Oh, I didn't explain any of the names. They're pretty simpler. Shelder, it's like a shell or a shield. Yeah, more like shield. Waldor, a wall. Fortra, a fortress. And then Shivador is based off of chivalry because this is the Knight Sporemon. You can see he's got this much more upright stance, these enormous arms, and his whole body is plated, a grass and steel type. So he's a much more offensively and speed based rather than this pure defensive Fortrador. His HP is a little worse. It's not bad. Attack's pretty good, not fantastic. Defense is also pretty good, but not fantastic. Special attack, it's pretty bad for a third stage too. He's definitely a physical attacker. Special defense, decent, definitely better than the main line, and then speed is also decent, but he's not super fast. He has 3 abilities. First one being Chivalrous. He takes 75% less damage from dark type moves. So he's basically immune to dark type moves. He doesn't have that resistance already, I don't believe. Unless steel resists dark? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So he does resist dark quite well now. He also has the Knight ability, which deals 50% more damage to dragon types. So this thing is going to be able to take down dragon types a bit better, especially with that steel type making him resist dragon. And he has the massive arms ability, which bash and punch moves deal 75% more damage. So that attack stat is actually going to be much more massive with bash and punch moves, because he can really deal some serious damage with those very large arms. So definitely a very heavy physical attacker with good defenses and decent speed. Definitely more of a generalist than the heavily defense-based Fortrador. And finish off the line with a Mega Fortrador. Fortress Sporemon, Grass and Rock type still. Let's get him stood up if we can. So you can see he's much more open now. He's got this very upright stance, more dramatic spiking, a very dark coloring. He's got a dark purple for his rocks now. And yeah, these shields are much more out there. And you can see in his stats, his defense actually went quite a bit down, which is the only time so far we've seen a Mega drop any of the stats. However, his HP went up, attack went up, special attack went up. Special attack is now great. Special defense went up as well, it's now just decent, still on the bad side. And speed also went up quite a lot. So it definitely makes him much more of an offensive rather than a pure defensive non-Mega. And he still has the same 2 abilities. So this is, like I said, the only one we've really seen where the Mega actually changes how you would want to use the Sporemon almost entirely. But that's just an interesting choice you'd have to deal with late game. Alright, next up, this is the Dual Shot line. This is a Dark and Steel line with a Grass and Steel Alter Evolution, I believe. This line is based off of Cowboys, also the Mandalorian, and just sort of burgerly, some jewelry, gold, robbers, that sort of thing. First up with a Dual Shot. It's a pretty simple name, dual and shot, because he's got 2 guns for arms. You can see his arms come down here. He's got these little sights on each arm, and he's got a barrel on each arm. So you can see you would shoot little bullets at each of those arms. This is also the first example of a tribal one, which is basically just a Sporemon that has like some clothes attributes to them. They definitely become more common later on, but never super. But it is something that I am open to, and I do sometimes give them extra layers with that sort of thing. You can see on this guy, he's got a pretty dull-colored but well-armored body. He's got these little spurs back here, like a cowboy's boot spurs. He's got a backpack to keep everything that he's stolen. A bit of a cowboy hat, little mustache, some bull horns, and he's got a skull on the back of his head, undoubtedly from one of his kills. Yeah, so this is a steel and dark type, the cowboy Sporemon. As far as stats go, he has fine HP, pretty good attack, decent defense, decent special attack, quite good special defense, and then quite good speed. And he has the ability Quick Draw, which gives priority to projectile moves. So this thing is going to, as long as it's using its projectile moves, which is definitely the moves it's going to have the most of, it's going to move first, most likely. I'll say this is probably like +3 priority. So as far as the things like dealing with projectile, like which attack stat would actually work for projectiles, it kind of goes back and forth. I think generally I like to say special attack. In the Sporemon universe, they can use their special attack stat for some things that would do physical damage, like for instance shooting a gun. Like that's more a special attack because it's not really their muscle or power or strength. And then so it'd use the special attack stat, and then it would hit and do physical damage. And there's other things that are the opposite of that, probably less common. It's definitely more so would be the other way around for things like rock slide, right? The Sporemon conjures a rock slide above the enemy with their special attack, their special powers, and then it hits the enemy just like a bunch of boulders that would do physical damage. Never really made sense to me that they would be uh, conjuring this rock slide with their physical attack. For this one, though, I'm not sure. I think I might have just gone for pure physical attack with the projectiles that they both use and deal. So we'll see. The rules have changed up a bit as I've gone on, and you can't go back and edit any of them, any of the old ones, or it'll mess up the whole line. So I just gotta live with what they are. But the next one is Bullet Scale, name based off of bullet and scale. He's awfully loud. Uh, all right, there we go. The volume's a bit down. So this is the gunslinger Sporemon. You can see in his design, he's got these like Gatling gun sort of arms now. He's also got much brighter scaling, starting to look more silver and gold. He's got a whole back full of skulls, and got that mustache, that cowboy hat still. Got the spurs, and a very dragon sort of looking face. But he's a steel and dark type. For a second stage, HP not great, attack fine, defense kind of bad, special attack pretty bad, special defense decent, and speed decent. So he's not great in the stat department. It also is clear though that I did go for attack, being that projectiles. And his ability is still quick draw. So he's not fantastic in the stat department. However, I think with his third evolution, which we can check out now, it's going to really boost him. So this is the Bololorian, based off of Bullets and the Mandalorian. The Bounty Hunter Sporemon. He's doing a bit of a dance. You can see this is a massive upgrade from the last entry. Okay, buddy, I need you to chill. There we go. So you can see he's also got this secondary set of arms now that go up over his head. They all have projectiles with this larger one in the middle. He's covered in adornments. He's also got a pretty vibrant silver and gold coloring, a lot of armoring as well. So got the spurs, got some skulls down there, got his hat, got rings all over him now, and some more skulls up there, as well as these spikes. Also some very long, broad horns now, and he's got that curled mustache that a old timey sort of cowboy might have. Steel and dark type, HP fine, attack not great. It's on the low side. Defense pretty good. Special attack quite bad. Special defense fine, and speed not great. So this is actually, if I made this now, these stats would be much different. Attack would be way higher. Um, at least I should see. Let's check out his abilities. He still has quick draw, and then outlaw is the new one. Dark type moves will steal any item the opponent has, and one stage of either attack or defense will be stolen as well. So that's a pretty good ability. He's gonna boost his attack and defense pretty quickly as long as he uses multiple dark moves. He's also going to take the opponent's item, which could definitely give him the advantage in battles. That's a pretty good ability, but I would still boost these stats for sure. Attack and defense would both be much higher. HP would also be higher. Special attack, well, if I'm going by the modern system where special attack is actually what projectiles use, then I would definitely give him a much higher special attack with a lower attack. And special defense would also be way higher. His special defense would probably be almost max, I figure, because dark types usually have super high special defense because they've got that smart, that sort of wit that comes with them. Speed would also probably be a bit higher. But that's all right. He's still, I think, in my opinion, a fantastic design. So we're going to focus on that. Let's go ahead and move on to Capturgent. This is the War Machine Sporemon, a steel and grass type. Name based off of Captain, Sergeant, or just Captain and Sergeant, I guess. Okay, buddy, I'm really going to need you to stand still. There we go. So you can see he's got these lower arms, which have got like Gatling guns, and then these higher arms, which look more like rocket launchers. He's got a very camouflaged sort of color scheme, also much more heavily armored. Got this leaf ring around him, this mustache with a beard. He's got a much more military-looking headpiece with these things on the side, and then the goggles. And he's got a bit more of a mammalian sort of body type there as well. HP, pretty good. Attack, pretty good. Defense, quite good. Special attack, really bad. Special defense, fine. And speed, fine. So pretty similar to the main line, honestly. He's a bit more specialized, so he's probably going to do a bit more damage. He's going to be a bit more defensive. He's more pushed towards the physical side, so more specialized for physical rather than more spread out like the main line. His ability is Captain, which means he cannot be confused. And he also has the artillery ability. Projectile moves deal 45% more damage and can never miss. So that's quite a good ability, and that's definitely going to boost his main attacking stat. So I'd say Capturgen is pretty well balanced for late game, probably more so than the main line. But with that, we're going to move on to the Mega for the line, Mega Bololorian. Bounty Hunter, Steel and Dark type. I remember this one's very extravagant. He's got absolutely covered in gold. He's bright, shiny silver and gold colored now. He's also absolutely covered in skulls. Okay, dude, stop dancing. There we go. He's got the big long spikes. Body frame is pretty much the same, but he's definitely got a lot more skulls and things like that all over him. Bigger mustache, some masks back there. He really is just loving to dance right now. But yeah, color change is also quite noticeable in the rings. Steel and Dark, HP pretty good, attack pretty good, defense really good, special attack fine, special defense decent, speed on the bad side, and he still has those same two abilities. So definitely better than regular Bololorian, but still not fantastic. I definitely would have beefed him up if I made him now, but he's looking pretty good. At least the defense I'd say is accurate, so I'll give him that. All right. And with that, we're going to move on to the last line of this episode, the Toxitongue line. This is a poison and dark line with a poison and fighting alter evolution. I know this is based off of like the mob with like a grunt, a more lesser level boss, and then the mob boss himself. We're going to start down here with Toxitongue, named based off of toxic and tongue. They're definitely all frog or toad based as well. I think this design is actually, for how simple it is actually quite good. It's very Pokemon-like. He's got the very frog-like feet and hands. Got the little tail with the little, some sort of little something back there. He's also got these head frills and then a nice big head with those on top frog-like eyes. This is the Tongue Sporemon. He's a poison and dark type. HP pretty good. Attack not great. Defense pretty bad. Special attack quite good. Special defense, fine, and speed, pretty good. And he has the ability Long Tongue, which makes poison type attacks are always special. So even if he uses what would usually be a physical poison attack, it's actually going to end up being special, and it's going to use that special attack stat. So that's quite good for him. That gives him access to a lot more and more diverse poison moves that are always going to be using his best attack stat. Very vibrant coloring too, with this bright purple and lime green laid over top. All right, we're going to move on to his evolution. Poisoboss, name based off of poison and boss. This is the slime ball Sporemon. Get him stood up. Poison and dark type. He's got much darker base coloring with a bit more vibrant outer coloring. Very similar to his pre-evolution, except definitely bigger, chunkier, a bit more mature looking. Poison and dark type. HP, quite good. That's really good for a second stage. Attack, not great. Defense, pretty bad. Special attack, special defense, decent, not fantastic. And then speed, fine. He still has that long tongue ability, but he also has the toxic skin ability. After being attacked by a physical move, 60% chance to poison the enemy. So basically, once his opponent lands a physical move, there's a pretty good chance they're going to get poisoned, which is definitely a good sort of move. As far as the stat spread goes, it makes him a bit difficult to really specialize. He's definitely a special attacker who, with decent speed, defense is kind of low, and then decent HP. So not necessarily a tank, not necessarily a sweeper, kind of somewhere in the middle. I'd say he may end up being like a status user with those abilities. He's got a very high chance to poison. Yeah, I'd say status could definitely do. He does have that high HP, which definitely helps with his defenses, but it is definitely still a problem to have low defense. Anyway, we're going to move on to the final evolution, Veneking, based off of Venom and King. This is the Glutton Sporemon, based off of a mob boss. He's absolutely massive. That enormous torso, huge arms, big legs, big feet, big hands. He's still got this tail thing that the previous two had. He's also got these like enormous poison glands, you could call them. One on his forehead, one on each shoulder, one on his upper back, and one on the back of his head. And then he's got a very extravagant looking headpiece on his very on his enormous head. So this thing has an HP of 195. He's absolutely massive. This is one of the best HPs. I think this is the best HP stat we've seen so far. Um, Attack is fine. Defense is pretty bad. Special attack is quite good. Definitely quite good. Special defense is also quite good. And then his speed is on the bad side. This line has slowly been getting slower, but his speed never got too abysmally low. He's still going to outspeed a decent amount, about a third. Um, and he has the long time ability still. He also has the toxic skin ability. And his new and final ability is the mob boss ability, which makes him immune to dark type attacks. So he's already dark type. He's not going to be taking many dark type attacks, but if you ever try to use one on him, he's immune. So he's got that going for him. As far as stats go, he's definitely a solid special tank now. I'd say that special defense and high special attack, as well as HP and sort of low speed, definitely make him a special tank. And with those abilities as well, I'd say, yeah, he works very well as a special tank. Took him a little while to actually get into his groove there, but I would say he would function quite well as a special tank as long as you're not going up against a physical attacker. And now let's go for the Ultra Evolution. This is Brawl Loxic, based off of Brawl and Toxic. The Spray Fighter Sporemon. He's a poison and fighting type. You can see he's got a much more slim sort of stance, bigger, more muscular legs and arms. He's got little spray poison glands on his hands that he could use in combat. A lot of adornments, some big head frills. And yeah, the color scheme is switched to a lime green base with a purple detail and coat. As far as stats go, HP, fine. Attack, it's pretty low. I definitely would give him a better attack now. He does have even attack and special attack, so he can use both equally as effectively. And then defense quite low still, and special attack or special defense actually really good. So he's definitely a quite good special defender, and he also has really, really good speed. So this thing, I would call it a fast generalist, I suppose. He can't really be a sweeper without a super high attack or special attack, but I would say he's a quite good speedy generalist, and he does have that really good special defense to help keep him alive. His abilities, he has two. First one is Poison Glands. All of his physical attacks have a 75% chance to poison the target. So this thing is going to be basically guaranteed to poison, and if he does want to poison, he's going to be using that physical attack stat. He also has the Brawler ability, which makes fighting and dark type moves. Fighting and dark type moves can switch types depending on which will do more damage. I see. So if he uses a fighting move, if his target is weak to fighting, if his target is strong against fighting and weak to dark, and he uses a fighting type move, it will switch type to dark to be super effective. So that's actually a fantastic move, and makes him actually one of the best generalists we've ever seen with that super, super good adaptability and that super high likelihood to poison. So I think this is actually a fantastic Sporemon. I mean, even like a steel type immune to poison, he's still got that fighting type, so he's still going to have super effective stab moves. So that is quite good. Or even with some decent, sort of unimpressive stats, I'd say he's actually going to be super effective. And we're going to move on to the last one for this video, Mega Veneking. The Glutton Sporemon, a poison and dark type, he's got that max HP stat of 200. He's got a much more vibrant coloring of that bright pink, and that purple head going down to that bright pink with that lime green. Very similar, a bit more extravagant with all of these extra poison glands on his chest, stomach, back, and elbow. And then a bit larger features, definitely a bit thicker, and a bit more active of a stance. Attack, fine, not great. Defense, on the bad side. Special attack, quite good. Special defense, quite good. And speed, decent. So yeah, definitely a super strong special tank. with this Mega, and he's got all the same abilities. All right, and that does it for this episode of Sporemon, episode 11. And in the next one, we're going to be going over the next 3 5-stage evolutionary lines. And I'll see you there. Bye.